Was Raila Amolo Odinga not the prime minister in the year 2008? Don't we remember the conflict between Raila Amolo Odinga, the prime minister, and Kalonzo Musyoka, the vice president, and the conflict in parliament which allowed Marende to deliver a decision which we described by the media as Solomonic? Wasn't there conflict? Did we not have Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta as a deputy prime minister? Did we not have Musalia Mudavadi as a deputy prime minister? Did we not change that in the Constitution of Kenya 2010? Why are we bringing it in after only 10 years? Then we are told, and I am a supporter of women's involvement because of the historical disadvantage that they have suffered over the years. I am therefore affirmative action. I supported it at Bomas and I do. But look at their prescription. We introduced 360 seats. And if we don't get enough women, then we go to the party list, and on the basis of the votes that have been cast, we top up until we get a number that ensures that there's no gender is more than 2/3. We'll do that for 15 years. They have now introduced a term limit. Our parliament could end up being one of the largest in the world relative to our GDP. Do we want to do that? Then you go down to the counties, it is the same top up, and they now cap it up as 10 years. I mean, it is so sad that a country that is so bedeviled with problems is now adding more. And then I hear somebody telling me, oh, the prime minister will not earn a higher salary. What is a salary in the life of any public office? It is the other hidden costs. Tea of 11 million in your office, per diems, the vehicles. Salary is 0.00001% of what it takes to take care of an office. And then we are told many things are going to happen with BBI, that Higher Education Loans Board was one of them. Really? Shouldn't the Board of Higher Education Loans Board sit there? Then we are told that the youth are going to have tax holiday. Oh, if you don't have work, what is a holiday in the first place? If you don't have work, what is the value of a holiday? Then you create a youth commission. Don't we have many of those youth things?
You actually have a ministry.
Yeah, we have a ministry for youth. So what is the commission going to do that the ministry cannot do? So when you look at the BBI, and it's so painful that the political leadership thinks, this is what pains me as a Kenyan, the assumption that Kenyans are so stupid, so desperate that they can be told what to do and they will not question it. And we are now being told there is no time. Time for what? Who is Kenya being wound up? Kenya is the next, and we'll die and leave Kenya here. There is time. We need not and we must not have a referendum before the next election. In fact, I dare say, because of the poisoned environment, let us postpone this BBI business until after the elections in 2022, when there is sobriety. When there is sobriety, then we can begin to discuss. And remember, this is something I must say. Parliament, Kenyan Parliament, in its wisdom, in the month of February, the year 2014, did mandate the Auditor General of the Republic of Kenya to undertake a social audit of the Kenyan Constitution. Ouko did so, and I was one of the persons who did quality check. He did so and released a report in 2016 in which he said, amongst other things, that we have too many members of parliament. We should reduce them. We have too many commissions. We should reduce them. He fell short of saying that we had too many counties. 47 counties? The United States of America, with a population of 330 million, with a GDP of 20 trillion, has only 50 states. And yet, as I speak to you now, it is more expensive to take care of a Kenyan governor than it is to take care of a governor in the state of California, which is only one state and whose economy is 15 times larger than Kenya. Who said we needed deputy ministers? What do they do? I only know 3 members of parliament in Nairobi. What are the members? I don't know the others. I don't know my MCA. I don't know what they do. Now we are saying that we have had the NMS. Nairobi is going to be added 12 constituents. To do what? If there were MPs working, MCAs working, why would we have General Badi being appointed by President Kenyatta? What are they doing? Tell me another thing. If you have a constituency development fund, why do you need a ward fund? Is the ward not in the constituency? And indeed, if you have the county government with a governor, why do you need those funds? Why don't those funds just go to the county, and then we have a vote for the constituency and a vote for the ward? I mean, you know, sometimes it is so painful to read a document which, I mean, this is how not to amend a constitution. This is now how not to write a constitution. Unfortunately, I think the people who are proposing this amendment have the wherewithal to put it down our throat. They have the capacity.
I've actually said you'll take it like malaria drugs.
Oh yeah, they have the capacity, but let them remember this. Let them remember this. There have been leaders in the world who thought that they were larger than life, almost as large as death. But they too have their comings and their goings. So when we are amending a constitution, let us think of the next generation and not the next elections. But even if they force it down our throats, we will have our say, so that history may record that when our constitution was being mutilated for no reason, we raised our voices even if they could not be heard at their most eloquent. That will be our contribution to history.
Wow. That's very profound.
Churches have spoken. The Muslim ulamas have spoken. The imams have spoken. The academics have spoken. Everybody has spoken, saying, let us reason together. The political class, at least some of them are saying, we shall not reason with you. Yet even God in his majestic divinity calls the people, God calls the people and say, let us come and reason together. Our politicians are saying, no, there is no time. What is the time? Who is this who is prescribing time?
Where are we going?
I will wake up very early in the morning to vote no. Very early in the morning to vote no, even if I'm on the losing side. Unless people retreat and say, let us reason together.
Wow. That's very profound. You've gone back to history. Even before I spin back the history of BBI and all these conversations, how do we protect our constitution? You've talked about mutilation of the constitution. How do you protect it to an extent that you don't wake up tomorrow, PLO, we come, we shake hands and we say, now let's solemnize our marriage, a political marriage, the change of our constitution. How do we protect our constitution from pursuit of personal gratuities?
You know, I've been reading, I've read a few friends of mine who are as frustrated as I am. I've read Yashpal Guy commenting on this. I've read my good friend Ahmed Nasser speaking about it, David Ndii, I've heard Martha Karua. I've read the thesis which is written by my good friend Professor Githum Wigai, who talks about the amendments of the Constitution. And Githu, in an article written in 1993 when we were at the CKRC, said that the Kenyan constitution has been dismembered so badly that we do not know how to deal with it. During the same year, Professor Ali Mazrui, the late, said, if African politics is ethnically prone, can we have ethnic-proof constitutions? We introduced Articles 255, 256, and 257 in the Constitution to create an environment where it is not easy to amend the Constitution. But see how we had an attempt to amend the Constitution through Okoa, Kenya, which failed. We had an attempt to amend the Constitution through Punguza Mizigo, which was not allowed to proceed. We now have an attempt at amending the Constitution.
Through BBI.
Even through BBI. It would appear that the appetite of the political class, the current political class, to interfere with the constitution is so deeply seated that even when you want to create a rigid environment, they don't care. You know, Bitok, when you hear that we are going to spend 14 billion to undertake a referendum, and I'm told, I do not know whether it's correct, they have never released the amount of money that they spent in this BBI.
So far.
They haven't, but it must be in the billions. And at the same time, doctors are dying because there is no PPEs.
Wow.
At the same time, our children are dying because there are no masks. At the same time, people who supply desks have not been paid. At the same time, my good friend Fred Matiang'i, Dr. Fred Matiang'i says that 40,000 police officers don't have police uniform because we have no resources. At the same time, we are borrowing money from the IMF. At the same time, we are having the Kenya Power increasing tariffs. At the same time, we are paying for SGR through taxes. At the same time, those who did work for counties cannot be paid. At the same time, counties have not received money for the last 3 months. Then you tell me that the priority is BBI, then I cannot understand you. Then I lose you. Then I do not know who you are. Then I do not know what you want. Then I do not know whether you love Kenya. Then I do not know what you intend to do with Kenya. And that is my frustration with the people that I call the BBI Knights. What? What? The country is on fire and you are not bringing the fire engine. You are asking us to build a new house. We forget about the old. Educate me, persuade me, not through insults. Persuade me by force of reason. And we are ready to be persuaded that that is the priority. It is true that our constitution can be improved, but what can never be improved? Let us implement this one first. Unfortunately, when God wants to destroy a country, sometimes it makes her leaders impervious to reason. I hope that this is not the case with our country. People out there must now ask, we are told that BBI is going to transform our lives. I want to talk to the people in Nyanza. How will BBI revive Sony Sugar, Muhoroni, Miwani, Mumias? How will BBI revive the cotton industry? How will BBI revive the cooperative industries, the fishing cooperatives? The people in Mombasa, how will BBI help Ramisi? How will they help Salt? How will they help Cashew Nut? Those who are in Central Province, is your milk going to be better produced? You are going to have better milk because of BBI? Is the coffee yield and the tea yield going to be improved? In Kericho with Finlay closing, will BBI change all this? The young men and women who have lost in Ministry of Tourism, on the day that we endorse BBI, if it will happen in the month of June, will we now create 3 million jobs courtesy of BBI? Or will merely have created the offices of the Prime Minister and Deputy Prime Ministers and the opposition, and will have renamed Cabinet Secretaries, Ministers, and will now give MPs a career progression of being cabinet ministers and have deputy prime ministers? I want to know how this BBI is going to revive the institution that have died, how Intercontinental Hotel is going to be open courtesy of BBI, how Mayfair Hotel in Nairobi is going to open courtesy of BBI, how garbage collection will improve simply because we have 12 more MPs in Nairobi. I want to be told. When I'm told these things, I'll be in the forefront of campaigning for BBI. Tell us, don't intimidate us, don't threaten us, don't troll us, don't insult us, don't cajole us. Just tell us, just reason with us. Like God said, let us come and reason with the people. Accept that you do not have the monopoly of wisdom. You are mortals just as us. You may mean well, but when you have too many people asking too many fundamental questions, turn back and said, Waswahili husema, baniani mbaya, kiatu chake dawa. Sisi ndio baniani hao wabaya, kiatu chetu huenda ni dawa.
Wow. I'll give you a water break as I throw it to Lucia to make a few commentaries.